Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll explore a fascinating Australia Elizabeth II 20-cent piece without a mint mark, an ordinary-looking coin that hides remarkable history, striking design features, and surprising value for collectors. First up, among Australia's decimal coinage, the 1968 Elizabeth II 20-cent coin without a mint mark has become a fascinating object of study for numismatists. While at first glance it may appear as an ordinary circulation piece, its rarity and desirability make it highly significant in the collector market today. The combination of historical context, design artistry, and scarcity ensures its place as one of the more valuable coins from the late 1960s decimal era. Collectors are drawn to it not only for its potential worth but also for the role it played in Australia's young decimal currency system. The 1968 issue came just 2 years after the introduction of decimal currency in Australia, when the nation officially transitioned from pounds, shillings, and pence to dollars and cents in 1966. This was an important cultural and economic moment, marking Australia's modernization of its financial system. The 20-cent denomination, struck in cupronickel, became one of the most widely used coins of this new era. Interestingly, the lack of a mint mark on the 1968 coin reflects its production at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, distinguishing it from certain later issues struck at branch mints. While it does not commemorate a specific event, its very existence ties into Australia's broader national narrative of progress and independence during the post-war decades. The coin's design is a vital aspect of its enduring appeal. The obverse features a youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by British sculptor Arnold Machin, which was used across Commonwealth coinage during the 1960s. The reverse showcases Stuart Devlin's iconic platypus design, a powerful symbol of Australia's unique wildlife and natural heritage. The 20-cent piece is struck in 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a diameter of 28.52 millimeters and a weight of 11.31 grams. Its bold imagery and solid composition make it stand out, and in pristine examples, the details of the platypus' sleek body and flowing water are remarkably sharp and visually striking. What elevates the 1968 20-cent coin without mint mark to a prized status is its relative scarcity compared to other years. Although millions were struck for circulation, surviving examples in higher grades are significantly less common today. Circulation wear, combined with the fact that few were preserved at the time, means that collectors must search diligently for specimens in top condition. A coin found in very dirty or heavily circulated state may not hold exceptional value, but examples graded at uncirculated or near mint levels are far rarer and thus considerably more desirable. Additionally, minor varieties and die imperfections occasionally surface, adding another layer of intrigue to specialist collectors. The value of the 1968 20-cent coin varies widely depending on grade and market demand. Circulated examples typically hold modest worth, but coins in uncirculated condition can command impressive premiums. On today's market, a high-grade specimen may range between $1,500 and $3,000, with exceptionally well-preserved examples certified by top grading services, sometimes reaching figures closer to $4,500 in specialized auctions. Collectors prize this issue because values have steadily risen over time, reflecting not only rarity but also growing international interest in Australian decimal coinage. For those seeking this coin, careful examination is essential. Collectors should look for crisp details on the Queen's portrait and the platypus features, as these high points often show the earliest signs of wear. Certification by trusted grading bodies such as PCGS or NGC adds credibility and can enhance resale value significantly. To preserve the coin, storage in non-PVC holders and climate-controlled environments is strongly recommended, as cupronickel is prone to tarnish and unattractive toning when exposed to dirt or humidity. Acquiring these coins through reputable dealers, numismatic shows, or established auction houses ensures authenticity and provides access to better quality examples. What makes the 1968 20-cent coin so appealing is not just its potential monetary value but its combination of artistry, history, and scarcity. For many collectors, it represents the excitement of early decimal coinage, a period that transformed Australia's monetary system. It serves as a tangible link to a transformative time in the nation's history while offering the thrill of pursuit in numismatic collecting. Each example, whether dirty and worn or gleaming and mint state, carries its own story of survival across decades of circulation. In summary, the Australia Elizabeth II 20-cent coin from 1968 without mint mark holds a distinguished place within the decimal series. Its historical significance, distinctive design, and rarity in higher grades have cemented its role as a desirable piece for both beginning and advanced collectors. While its market value can vary depending on condition, the overall trend shows steady appreciation, making it both a collectible treasure and a worthy investment. For enthusiasts of Australian currency, it remains a standout example of how even an everyday coin can achieve numismatic prestige through history, rarity, and artistry. Next up, of immense fascination and formidable value within Australian numismatics, the 1970 Elizabeth II 20-cent coin without a mint mark represents the absolute pinnacle of the series, a legendary issue that captivates and eludes even the most seasoned collectors. Its profound appeal stems not from pristine beauty, but from its extraordinary rarity and the compelling narrative of its creation, making it one of the most sought-after and discussed modern Australian coins in existence. Unlike coins whose value is derived from brilliant condition, the allure of this specific issue is rooted almost entirely in its scarcity, transforming even the most very dirty and well-worn specimen into a potential numismatic treasure. The market demand for this coin is perpetually intense, driven by the few known examples and its status as a crucial hole filler for completists aiming to own every year of the decimal series, ensuring its place as a blue-chip rarity regardless of its outward appearance. The historical context of this coin is inextricably linked to a pivotal moment of transition for the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. By 1970, the RAM had fully assumed the role of Australia's primary mint, and the practice of striking circulating coinage at the various British branch mints was being phased out. The 1966 and 1967 20-cent pieces from the London and Melbourne mints are scarce, but the 1970 no mint mark is in a league of its own. It is believed that only a minuscule number of 20-cent coins were struck in 1970 before the decision was made to cease their production for that year, ostensibly due to a sufficient existing supply in commerce. These few coins, struck exclusively at the Canberra Mint which did not use a mint mark, were almost certainly released accidentally into circulation, making them instant rarities. They were not a special commemorative issue but rather a fleeting and unintended anomaly, a final whisper of a year that almost wasn't, born from routine minting logistics rather than celebratory intent. The unique features of the 1970 20-cent coin are, paradoxically, its utter conventionality in design, which makes identifying a genuine example a task for experts. The obverse features the renowned portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin, surrounded by the legend, Elizabeth II Australia 1970. The reverse is the iconic platypus designed by Stuart Devlin, a masterful representation of one of Australia's most unique endemic animals, swimming through water depicted by lines. The coin is struck in cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, has a diameter of 28.65 millimeters, and a mass of 11.31 grams. In a high-grade condition, its distinguishing feature would be the full strike of the platypus's fine details and the water lines. However, for the no mint mark variety, the sole unique feature is the absence of any mint mark below the date, a negative attribute that requires careful authentication to distinguish from a heavily worn or damaged London Mint coin whose L mint mark has been obliterated. The rarity of the 1970 no mint mark 20-cent coin is legendary, with credible estimates suggesting a surviving population of fewer than 20 to 30 examples, a number that places it among the rarest regular-issue Australian decimal coins. This extreme scarcity is the sole driver of its value. Condition, for once, becomes a secondary concern. While an uncirculated example would be the ultimate prize, the reality is that every known specimen has been found in circulated grades, often heavily worn, scratched, and very dirty from its unintended time in public hands. This circulation-induced damage does little to dampen its value or desirability. In the world of numismatics, rarity consistently trumps condition for key dates, and this coin is the paramount example of that axiom. Its scarcity is absolute, making any confirmed example, regardless of its aesthetic shortcomings, a monumental find. Given its status, assigning a definitive market value is challenging due to its infrequent appearance at public auction, often occurring only once every several years. When a confirmed example does surface, it commands a staggering price. In its typical well-circulated, often very dirty condition, this coin reliably realizes prices between AUD $15,000 to $3,000 plus, a figure that is almost incomprehensible for a common-looking 20-cent piece. The final price is heavily influenced by the level of competition between determined bidders and the coin's specific state of preservation beneath the grime. An example with less severe wear or more discernible detail would trend toward the higher end of this spectrum. The value is driven purely by its non-negotiable rarity and its critical role in completing a year set of decimal 20-cent coins, creating a perfect storm of intense demand versus an almost non-existent supply. For collectors, the pursuit of this coin requires extreme caution and diligence. The first and most critical step is verification by a leading grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Given the prevalence of 1966 London Mint coins whose L has been purposely removed or worn away, and of 1971 coins altered to look like 1970s, date forging, independent certification is non-negotiable. One should never purchase a raw, ungraded example claiming to be this variety. When inspecting a potential find, a powerful loupe must be used to examine the area below the date for any traces of a removed mint mark or tooling marks, and the numeral 7 in the date should be compared to a known genuine 1970 coin to check for alterations. Acquiring such a prize is almost exclusively the domain of major numismatic auctions or private treaty sales through the most reputable specialist dealers. In conclusion, the 1970 no-mint mark 20-cent coin stands as a numismatic paradox, a coin whose immense value is completely divorced from its condition, resting entirely on the bedrock of its profound historical rarity. It is a tangible relic of a minting hiccup, an accidental survivor from a year that officially should not exist in this denomination. Its significance is monumental, representing the ultimate challenge for specialists of the decimal series. For investors and collectors alike, it represents a quintessential trophy asset, a coin whose value is underpinned by the most fundamental numismatic principle of all, extreme scarcity. Its appeal is eternal, its place in the pantheon of Australian coinage secure, and its potential for future appreciation remains strong as new generations of collectors enter the market, all hoping to someday glimpse this legendary, and often very dirty, piece of Australian monetary history. Next up, the 1981 Elizabeth II 20-cent coin without a mint mark holds a distinctive place in Australian numismatics. At first glance, it may look like a standard circulation piece, but for coin enthusiasts, it represents a period of transition and complexity in the nation's decimal currency history. Its desirability comes not only from the historical role it played but also from its potential as a collectible in today's market. While most examples survive in circulated and dirty condition, it is the high-quality, well-preserved coins that capture the attention of serious collectors. The year 1981 was unusual in Australia's coinage history. With increasing demand for 20-cent coins, the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra could not meet supply alone. As a result, production was contracted overseas to the Royal Mint in London, as well as to the Royal Canadian Mint. This created multiple varieties, some with subtle differences in design and strike quality. The coins produced at the Canberra Mint carried no mint mark, while others struck abroad sometimes bore distinguishing features. This makes the 1981 issue a fascinating study for collectors, as it reflects Australia's reliance on international mints during a period of high coinage demand. The design of the 1981 20-cent coin remains iconic. On the obverse, the Arnold Machin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II shows the monarch wearing a tiara, a portrait widely used across Commonwealth coinage in the 1970s and early 1980s. The reverse carries Stuart Devlin's well-known platypus design, a piece of artistry that symbolizes Australia's unique wildlife. Struck in cupronickel, the coin weighs 11.31 grams and measures 28.52 millimeters in diameter. The strength of the strike can vary depending on the mint of origin, with some coins showing sharper detailing than others, which can influence their appeal to discerning collectors. While the mintage figures for 1981 were high, the intrigue lies in the survival rate of coins in pristine condition. The Canberra minted, no mint mark examples are of particular interest, as their quality tends to differ from those struck abroad. Circulated coins in dirty or heavily worn state are common and often worth little beyond face value, but uncirculated pieces are far less frequently encountered. Additionally, collectors search for error varieties from this busy production year, including misstrikes and off-center coins, which can significantly raise desirability and value. Market prices for the 1981 no-mint mark 20-cent coin vary depending on condition and whether the piece exhibits unusual traits. Circulated examples typically fetch only a few dollars at most, but uncirculated or proof-like specimens can command between $400 and $1,200. Particularly well-preserved coins, or those with proven provenance and grading, have been known to exceed $3,000 in auction settings. Error varieties stand apart and may achieve prices of several $100s, depending on type and rarity. Collectors often see steady demand for this coin due to its historical backstory and international production links. Those seeking the 1981 20-cent without mint mark should focus on quality above all else. Look for crisp strikes, especially in the finer details of the Queen's portrait and the flowing water surrounding the platypus. Coins with minimal handling, bright luster, and no surface damage are the most desirable. Having a coin authenticated and graded by a professional service such as PCGS or NGC adds assurance of quality and boosts its marketability. For storage, non-PVC holders and controlled environments will help prevent tarnish or further wear. Networking within numismatic clubs or attending reputable auctions can improve chances of securing a premium example. The appeal of the 1981 issue is rooted in its story of both local and international minting. It connects collectors not just to Australian monetary history but also to the global partnerships forged to meet economic needs. For many enthusiasts, assembling a complete set of 1981 20-cent varieties, including Canberra, London, and Canadian issues, represents a rewarding challenge. The no-mint mark piece, being the standard Canberra issue, forms the cornerstone of this pursuit, and in higher grades, it is both aesthetically pleasing and financially valuable. In conclusion, the 1981 Australia Elizabeth II 20-cent coin without mint mark is more than just small change. It is a piece of history tied to an era of global collaboration and domestic demand. Its attractive design, historical significance, and relative rarity in high grades ensure it continues to draw attention from both casual hobbyists and serious numismatists. While most examples in dirty, circulated condition hold limited value, the finest survivors have proven their worth in the collector market. As time passes, appreciation for these early decimal coins only grows, securing the 1981 no-mint mark 20 cents place as a worthy collectible in modern numismatics. Next up, the 1982 Australia Elizabeth II 20-cent coin without mint mark may appear to be just another everyday piece of decimal coinage, but for dedicated collectors, it represents an intriguing part of Australia's numismatic story. Its appeal lies in the combination of design heritage, the stability of the decimal series, and the challenge of finding well-preserved specimens today. Though it's circulated widely and many examples exist in poor condition, high-grade coins remain highly sought after by those who value both historical context and potential investment. By 1982, Australia had been using decimal currency for over 15 years, and the 20-cent coin had already established itself as a workhorse denomination. Minted at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, the 1982 issue carried no mint mark, as was standard for coins struck domestically. While it was not produced to commemorate a specific anniversary or event, its place in the broader series reflects a period of steady coinage production and economic growth in Australia. The coin also links to the ongoing presence of Queen Elizabeth II on Commonwealth currency, symbolizing both continuity and tradition during a time of global change. The design of the 1982 20-cent coin is one of its most recognizable features. On the obverse, Arnold Mekin's portrait of Queen Elizabeth II shows the monarch wearing a tiara, a refined depiction that was a mainstay on Australian coins of this period. The reverse displays Stuart Devlin's timeless platypus design, which had become an enduring national icon since decimalization in 1966. Struck in cupronickel, the coin weighs 11.31 grams and measures 28.52 millimeters across. When found in uncirculated condition, the combination of metallic luster and sharply defined artistry elevates the coin from an ordinary piece of currency to an impressive collectible. The 1982 20-cent coin had a relatively high mintage, which makes circulated examples common in today's market. However, its rarity emerges when collectors focus on condition. Most surviving pieces are heavily worn, dirty, or scratched from decades of circulation. Coins in near mint or fully uncirculated states are far less common and attract strong interest. Error coins, such as misstrikes, off-center pieces, or examples with clipped planchets, also surface occasionally and are significantly rarer. For collectors, condition is the deciding factor in transforming a common coin into a valuable find. The value of the 1982 no-mint mark 20-cent coin depends almost entirely on preservation. Circulated coins in poor condition usually trade for little above face value, but high-grade uncirculated specimens can reach between $300 and $1,000 in the collector market. Rare varieties or exceptionally well-struck examples have been known to fetch higher prices, sometimes pushing toward $2,000 to $3,000 at auction. While it is not the rarest of the decimal 20-cent issues, its consistent demand and the scarcity of pristine examples keep its market value steady. Collectors seeking this coin should pay attention to surface detail and strike quality. On the obverse, the tiara of the Queen and the hairlines around her profile should be sharply defined, while on the reverse, the flowing water around the platypus should retain depth and clarity. Cleaning dirty coins is discouraged, as this can damage surfaces and reduce their value. Instead, collectors should focus on finding naturally preserved examples. Certification by a grading service such as PCGS or NGC provides assurance of authenticity and condition, while proper storage in archival quality holders prevents tarnishing or further wear. The 1982 issue has a subtle charm that appeals to both casual hobbyists and dedicated numismatists. For some, it represents a connection to everyday Australian life in the early 1980s, while for others, it is a critical piece in assembling a complete series of Elizabeth II decimal coins. The no-mint mark example is part of a long tradition of camber-minted coins, linking directly to Australia's national minting heritage. Its value is enhanced by its role in the larger story of Australia's decimalization and the enduring imagery of Devlin's platypus design. In conclusion, the Australia Elizabeth II 20-cent coin from 1982 without mint mark stands as a significant and collectible piece of modern numismatics. Its historical background, elegant design, and varying condition levels ensure it continues to attract attention in the marketplace. While most examples in dirty and circulated condition are of modest worth, the finest survivors and rare error coins can achieve far higher premiums. For collectors, it represents both an accessible entry point into Australian decimal coinage and a rewarding investment in quality pieces. Its continued demand confirms its place as a valued part of Australia's numismatic heritage.